Hello and welcome to the final day. We're near the end of the final day of the final afternoon here at Stripe Sessions. And on this particular video, I'm joined by Kunal, the product lead for usage-based billing, right?
That's right.
How are you doing?
Thanks for having me here, Ben. Excited to chat.
My pleasure. So first of all, how's your week been?
Week's been great. Session has been so energizing. And it's been just great to meet so many users.
Yeah.
And how they're building like so many innovative business models with billing, with usage-based billing. It's been fantastic.
Is there anything in particular, maybe from the product keynote or the developer keynote, that stands out to you?
Yes, I think a couple of things are very exciting. I think the two top themes of this keynote, stablecoin, AI, like it just like gets you so excited about the next 5 years. As John said like 5 times there. I think just from a launch perspective, we had a truckload of launches. Like really excited about. I was on the booths, manning the booths. The number of people who asked me about workflows, user-based billing, it's just been fantastic.
So workflows was a big
workflows was exactly. Workflows was a big thing. People are asking some use cases that we've not even thought about. Someone came to me and is like, hey, can I use workflows in this context? And I'm like, I have never thought about this way. Can we just like, let's fire it up, try it out. And it worked.
That's
and
great.
it was like amazing.
We need to write all that stuff down,
Exactly.
don't we? Yeah.
Yes, exactly. And
Okay,
make it use case.
in this session, we're going to talk about usage-based billing, right?
Yes.
And yeah, so first of all, can you just give me like a 101? What is usage-based billing?
Yep. So usage-based billing is basically exactly what it sounds. It's based on consumption of things. So it could be different things. You're like, I want to charge my users based on API calls. I want to charge users based on tokens consumed, if you're thinking of an OpenAI. Or it could be, let's say, Intercom's example was on the keynote. Intercom charges based on case resolutions, right? So based on that, I want to charge my customer. I have a pricing model around it, which could be, I want to pay as I go. And we can talk more about the different pricing models, or it could be a hybrid model where it is a flat fee and overage. Some usage comes as part of it and then can go over. So what Stripe is helping you with is that you send us all the usage, and then we create the bill, and we charge the customer for you.
Okay. So my kind of mental model of usage-based billing is loosely based on my background, which is working in serverless and in Lambda. Is that a kind of a good analogy for how you might be billed for Lambda invocations as an example of a usage-based billing model?
That is a great question. Actually, Lambda is being used by a lot of our users in the integration part. So what happens is like there's an event that happens. Let's say you just consumed a bunch of input tokens. What people do is like send that usage over to Amazon Kinesis queue, and then use a Lambda function to send it to Stripe. So I think that's basically where Lambda function comes to. But what is essentially happening is that you come within Stripe, you set up a meter, which is basically telling Stripe, I want to charge this user based on either sum of some events or aggregation of some events type. And then I start sending usage to Stripe.
I see. OK. So you tell Stripe what you're going to be charging on. That's your meter.
That's your meter.
Then your application, your business logic, every time that thing is happening for a customer, you send a notification of that thing happening to Stripe. How does Stripe then send a charge to your customer at some point?
That's a great question. So this was the metering part of it. Now next you get to pricing and subscriptions. So within Stripe, you will go and set up within your product catalog, what price do you want to charge for this thing? Right? It could be a simple X dollars per token price. It could be a tiered price. It could be a volumetric price. Depends on your business model, right? You set up your price, and then you set up a subscription and say, I want to charge this customer, and this is your billing frequency. At what frequency do I want to charge this customer? So you set that up.
Question for you. When you say you set up a subscription, is that a like a subscription for your customer, or is that a subscription meaning like you're going to send information to Stripe about the usage? What do you mean by subscription?
Great question. So subscription is for your customer. So let's say I am a company that sells image generation. So you're my customer, and so I set up subscription for you. And what the subscription does is that it defines the pricing that I'm going to charge you, and it defines the billing frequency that I'm going to charge you on. And then you send usage to Stripe. I take that usage, based on the information that you've provided me in the subscription, I actually go ahead and charge you.
I see. Okay. So you've got the meter,
Yep.
you've got the subscription,
Yep.
and you've got the frequency of the
That
of
is
the
on
billing.
the subscription itself.
That's on the subscription. Okay.
There's in the middle. There's also price, right? So you have a meter.
Right.
Meter connects with the price. The price goes on to subscription, and then you charge the customer.
I see. And so does the charge, I suppose the charge can be taken automatically or invoice or lots
Absolutely.
of
So
different ways.
we have very similar to how our other subscription, like a flat fee subscription works. You have two options. You can do charge automatically if you have a payment method on file, or you can go ahead and send an invoice to the customer.
And I noticed you kept referring to tokens.
Yes.
Is that because you're thinking specifically about using these applications for
That is
AI?
true.
Or,
That is true. Like, so there's a lot of demand, like with Gen AI companies. There's
Right.
just been an explosion of demand for usage-based billing. I would go as far as to say it's the default model. And there are good reasons for that, right? Like if you think about, they need to align their price with their variable cost, and the costs are not insignificant, right? The inference cost is expensive, so that's one. They also need to align the price with almost the perceived value that the user is getting for hiring AI. So usage-based billing has almost become the default for AI applications, and that's why it's very top of mind. I keep going back to tokens, but it's not just tokens. It could be APIs, it could be database, storage, like it could be anything.
That's quite a complex problem of how far you go in aligning your price, right? Because if you align it too much, you're kind of putting a bit of the complexity onto
Yes.
your users,
Yes.
right? So is there any sort of guidance on how people should set that up?
Yep. I wish there was an easy answer, but I'll tell you what we are observing. If you are more in the foundational model layer, think your Anthropic, think OpenAI, Perplexity, you're quite okay exposing that complexity to the user.
Okay.
So you're literally talking input tokens, output tokens, model, and you're just exposing that completely, so the alignment happens really well. When you're more higher in the layer, that's where you're trying to abstract away the complexity, right? Like, I will use a non-AI example because I've been just using that, like Databricks, right? It translates all the things that you can do into Databricks units, right? They're trying to abstract away that complexity from the user, but still charge in proportion to their costs or the complexity of the work that they're doing for you.
Okay. So going back to my previous analogy
Yep.
of Lambda,
Yep.
one of the biggest challenges I remember customers always hitting up was their pay-per-use costs kind of getting away from them, getting
Yes.
out of control, and always asking for more protection on that,
Yep.
you know, or beyond just things like alarms, but like how do you maybe predict what your costs will be? How
Yep.
do you prepay, things like this? So
Yeah.
what are some of the kind of functionality and tools that
Yep.
Stripe usage-based billing has
Yep.
for that kind of problem?
That's a great question, Ben. So I think I'll answer the Stripe and then I'll talk about the business model itself. So Stripe, we have something called alerting, and we also have something called thresholds. So alerting lets you specify, please send me a webhook whenever a user hits a certain amount of usage. Actually, we demoed it yesterday at the keynote where we use an alert to actually trigger a workflow.
Okay, sorry. So please send me a webhook. That webhook goes to who?
To the user, to the merchant, or the business owner. Yeah.
Okay, right.
Yeah. So it goes to them, yes. It'll be weird to send it to the customer. And then you can do different things, right? You can basically turn off access.
Yeah.
You can send them an email and say, hey, this has happened, please pay your invoice. So that's alert. Then we have thresholds, which is where you can specify, to your point, a monetary value, which is like once I've racked up, let's say, $1,000, immediately cut an invoice and try to charge the customer.
Ah, interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and then now what is very interesting is that either the invoice goes through, let's imagine you're charged automatically, you're trying to charge the card on file, then you're good. You continue the service. If the if the charge fails, you turn off access.
Right.
So I think that's basically the built-in protection.
Yeah.
But this was saying about business model choices, right? I think while this works in some setups, some businesses don't want to take that risk at all, right? Especially if you're thinking about high-velocity customer base. There, it's probably better to not use pay-as-you-go model and shift to more hybrid models or a credit-based model.
Credit-based model.
Yeah.
So you can have a pay-per-use with credit allocations as well.
Yes. So basically, I'll give you an example. Perplexity is a great example, right? Like they do not let you use their product without prepaying for it.
I see.
But
right.
they've made it very easy for you. You can basically set up auto top-ups. So you essentially say, hey, I want to be topped up by $50 every time my balance goes below $2.
Right.
And that's it. It works easily because the customer knows what's happening, and Perplexity has to never take any risk.
That's a perfect example of taking away the kind of mental load and what you have to think about, and just being like, hey, you've run out of credits, top it up.
Yep.
You're still essentially paying or using those credits with your usage base, but you're not getting caught out, right?
Yep.
I see.
Exactly.
Can you walk us through an example of how you might set up usage-based billing?
Absolutely.
And set up
Should
your
I
meters?
show you a demo or just talk through it?
A demo would be great. Yeah.
I can just
if you have
pull up something. Okay.
So what are you going to show us here?
So what I'm going to show off is like basically a couple of steps. First, I will go ahead and create a meter.
A meter.
We talked about a meter. That's basically where you define what I'm charging for, how do I want to aggregate usage. Then I'll set up a price. I will attach that price to that meter. I will add that to a subscription. And we'll try to use test clocks to actually move forward time and show how we can actually charge it.
Excellent. Yeah, let's do it. Let's see.
Okay. So let's go ahead and create a meter. What do you want to call it, Ben?
Let's call it this. Okay.
So it has to be something with sessions.
Sure.
Yes, here. Session counter, maybe?
Lovely. Very creative.
So I'm going to call it a sessions counter. Okay. Let's go ahead and create. So you have a couple of options here. You have aggregation method. You can do sum, or you can do count.
Okay.
Or you can do last, which is like basically last event during that time period. So
when would you use last? Why would you use last?
So think of what could be last. Last could be an example is that imagine there is a database storage where things just keep going up and up, and you are charged based on how much is stored at the end of the month.
Yeah,
right?
I see.
So that could be a good use case for last. I'll tell a hack here. A lot of people also use it as a escape hatch if Stripe doesn't support their particular aggregation method. So if you have sum and count, let's say you want to do P95 over something. You can just use last, keep reporting values, and we'll just pick the last value.
You just set that yourself in your own business logic. I see. Okay, yeah.
So
makes sense.
Let's do count. There's some advanced options here. I will just quickly flash them. You can tell what time window I want to send this over. Are we sending raw events or am I sending pre-aggregated events? And there's also dimensions. So for this payload, for this meter, you can set up dimensions. Think of them as keys on which I can group my usage.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, so a good example. Since you're AWS, like you're talking about EC2, you can send regions along with it. That can then be used for showing to the user, and can also be used for pricing differently, right? That for this EC2 instance by this region, I charge this much. So that's what it's about.
So different prices for different dimensions.
Yes.
But same meter.
Same meter, because the same, like it's EC2.
Got it.
So here we have this. We hit create meter, and that's it. This creates the meter. Now we've created a meter. Let's go in there and see what it looks like. So this is the meter that I just created, and this talks about how to start reporting usage. So this is the curl command for how you would actually send usage to this meter, the sessions counter. So let me do this. Let me use a test customer. This will create a test customer for us. Let me go ahead and send a meter event just to show what it looks like.
So in production, this is what you might throw into your Kinesis stream via a queue or something like that, right?
Actually, let's just talk about that very interesting, because I think there's two options here. One is that you actually set up this slightly more sophisticated system where you are sending usage to a queue, which is then shooting it over to Stripe. Or you can use Stripe's SDK, and then you can basically just integrate it into your application, right? You can integrate usage reporting into a middleware or a shared function wherever that events are actually occurring, right? And then you can send this to Stripe. Don't need to maintain a queue. You can put in a simple try-catch mechanism and have a retry, and just keep retrying, because Stripe does support up to 1,000 events per second. For most use cases, you don't need to get into that sophisticated.
I suppose so, yes.
Yeah, you can just use that.
Maybe if your usage is super granular, you want to queue it up and batch it up somehow first. Yeah.
Yes, but I think even though, sorry, I'm going to talk about why I'm excited about so much, because we also have another path, which is the streaming path.
Okay.
And we support up to 10,000 events per second on that. And we can actually, for like the more sophisticated dedicated users, the most sales-led users, we can go up to 100,000 events per second.
Okay.
So even if we really don't want you to batch, we want you to send real-time data, because if you send us real-time data, not batch it, we can do that real-time alerting we were talking about. But if you're batching over an hour, let's say, we can't do that, right? We can't react that quickly.
So there's levels to this.
Yes,
I
exactly.
see. Okay, right. Let's see it.
So let's go ahead and, oh, sorry. So create a test customer. Let me go ahead and send a meter event. So this is...
So here we're simulating an event, a billable event happening in our application.
Actually, I should just create the customer again, I think. Oops, sorry. Use test customer. Customer ID to code block. Send meter event. Here we go. And here's the payload value.
Okay, yeah.
Let's say I want to send 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
And this is arbitrary. This is just whatever our business logic cares
exactly.
about. Okay.
So this is where you can see the event name, sessions counter. I'm reporting to that. This is the payload value. And this is the customer for whom this was consumed. And I press enter. So that thing has gone now. If I look at the meter, this should be real time. Let's see what happened. Yes.
There we go. Okay.
So you have that usage come in. Stripe has ingested it for the test customer that I just created and processed it. And it's already showing up here.
What I didn't see there was where we attached a price to our counter.
Sorry?
I didn't catch where we attached a price.
We haven't yet.
Oh, okay.
So that's the great thing. Like the way we have built the system is that the metering is completely independent for pricing.
Okay.
And that's what we want it to be, because imagine you have a price change. You don't want those two things to be coupled. So you don't have to get your engineers every time touch your usage reporting pipeline. You keep reporting usage to us, and then you can do pricing separately. So let's go and do the pricing.
Yeah,
now.
let's do it. Let's see it.
So product catalog. Okay, let's create a product. So I'm creating a product here. Sorry, sessions counter. And I want to, oops. Let's go to more pricing options. And my pricing model is user-based billing. So let's go for that. Let's do a per tier model. And here you can define, let's say for the first 100 events.
I see. Okay.
I don't want to charge anyone.
It's like staggered
and
freemium model.
Exactly. Yeah. And beyond that, let's say I charge $1 for every person who's here. And then you can choose the meter that I just defined, sessions counter. You define the billing period. We talked about that earlier. On the price, you basically define how often do I want to charge this user. So let's say I want to charge it monthly. And then that's it. You hit next. Oops, I did not enter here. Of course, there we go. So there's your product created, the price created, and I've added it here. And that's it. This is your price, and it should be all set up now. Okay, so here, sorry, let me go click in. Yeah, user-based price, monthly, sessions counter is this. So now I've created the price. Now what I need to do is like create a subscription, as we talked about.
Okay, yes.
So let's go ahead and create a test.
So this is interesting. Yep. We've already sent a billing event.
Yes.
And we have a price attached to that event. And we've given it a customer when we sent that billing event. Yep. But the customer's not subscribed to the tier yet?
Nope, they're not.
So what does that mean for like how these objects are related to each other? Like
yes. So again, if you go back to what I was saying earlier, is that we have separated metering from pricing. So you can keep sending usage for this customer to us and decide not to price them until you do.
Okay.
So you can just keep sending usage. You can still have a lot of powerful tooling. You can fetch that usage back over like specific periods of time. You can do analytics over it. You can still do all of that. But obviously, finally, you want to go build them.
Does that mean you can also, once you subscribe them, like retroactively?
Yes.
So, okay, I see. All right.
Which I won't be able to show you from a dashboard, but exactly, yeah, you hit the nail on the head. A lot of the users are like, I've signed a contract. I want to go live right now, but I don't have it like all hooked up into my system.
Right.
So we are like, okay, go ahead, start sending your usage, and then you can always backdate, start your subscription.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's intentional.
Yes, that's intentional. It's feature, not a bug. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to set up a simulation. Okay. This is basically a test clock. This lets me actually simulate time because I won't be able to stay here for a month to actually watch
So
it
this
happen.
won't increment our counter, this our billing counter. This will just move us forward.
In time, correct.
So we'll see what. Okay, so they've used a thing once.
Yes, yes.
and it's a month later on now. Okay.
Yeah, actually, now I will go ahead and create a new customer altogether. So maybe I'm creating Ben as a customer. Ben at stripe.com. Oops. Let's add customer. Okay, you've added the customer here now. Let's go ahead and create a subscription. Ben is already there. We added
So we'll
this.
have to send a billing event for this new customer as well,
Yes,
won't we?
Exactly. So we'll have sessions counter. So we just started that. We want to bill monthly. And because I don't have your payment method on file, instead of charging automatically, I want to email you.
Right. Yep.
Okay. And I think I should have gotten everything here. Oh, let me turn off tax because I don't have your address. Create a subscription. There we go. So your subscription has now started. Now I'm going to copy a customer. Let's go ahead and
Bill a thing.
send them some
Yeah.
usage. Yep.
Okay.
Oops. Send me to events. I will go back. Now we have your customer ID that I just copied over. Hopefully this works. I'll use the same thing that I did. Sent usage. Let's see if he got it here. Yep, this event just came in.
Okay.
Let's go back to subscriptions. Sorry, go ahead.
So that counter was showing us
I'll go
the
back.
counter across all the customers.
Yes,
Okay.
that is a
right.
view across all the customers for that specific meter.
Right. Can you drill into an individual customer as well?
You can.
Okay.
Yes,
cool.
you can grill it to individual customers, specify your time period and on the chart. And on the test clock, sorry, I need to go
So
back.
now we're going to zoom forward in time a month
Yes,
because that's our billing cycle of once a month. right?
exactly.
Yeah.
So I am going to advance time. And this usually takes, let's make it one month and maybe 1 hour.
Yeah.
And advance it. Okay. This will take a few seconds. Can be up to a minute, so we can talk about something else.
This
if
will
you
take a month.
want. Yeah. No, this will not. That's why we are using this so that it happens
Okay.
fast.
So while that's doing
Yeah.
that, and we'll come back to it.
Yeah.
Why is this such a buzz around usage-based billing at this moment in time? Why is it so important right now? You sort of alluded to it earlier, but I want to
think
go
it's
more.
all about like the AI is like basically put it on steroids. So usage-based billing, if you think about it, is not new, right? Infrastructure as a companies, think AWS, you talked about it. Platform as a service, Databricks, they've always used it. Stripe is usage-based billing, right? But now the buzz is because AI companies are being formed, and previously SaaS companies are also integrating AI into them. All of them cost a lot of money to run from an inference perspective, and
Right.
that's why usage-based billing is the best model.
People
to
need
go.
to pass some of that,
Yes.
that money on to their
Yeah.
customers,
I
unfortunately.
am hoping
yeah.
this would have run by now. There we go. Oops.
What are you saying?
Oh, I do not know what I did.
It says paid.
It says paid.
Oh, but it was free, right?
Oh, yes.
It was.
okay.
We were on tier 0.
Yes, okay.
So that worked,
Yes,
actually.
yes, so it worked.
Right?
Yes, I should have thought about that before I gave it to a smaller tier.
No,
But
that
okay.
makes sense.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
great. I feel like I've had a private one-to-one lesson on,
Yeah.
on how to set it up. It's actually a lot easier than I thought,
Yeah.
but there's more components to it than I thought as well,
Yes.
if you see what I mean.
Yeah.
But I can understand why they're all kind of decoupled from each other. You've
Yes.
explained that really nicely.
Yes. Yeah.
Where do you think this will go in the future? Like, what's on the roadmap for UBB? How do you see companies using this? Do you have any insight into that you can share?
Yes. So companies are using it. Actually, help me understand the question again. So because I'm seeing it being used in a lot of different ways. So I'm curious, like, what are you most curious about?
What's some of the more exciting things you're seeing, the applications of it?
Yep.
And where do you think Stripe will take usage-based billing? What kind of releases are?
Yeah.
on the roadmap that you're allowed to share?
Absolutely. Okay, I think so. One is like the amount of business model innovation that is happening with UBP, because also no one has cracked like how I should be charging my customer for AI-based applications. Because, as you said, it's hard, right?
Yeah.
Either you end up exposing too much complexity to the user or start undercharging them. It's very difficult to get it right. So there's a lot of business models that are coming up. We talked about credits. Hybrid is a big thing, which is basically you're marrying the age-old subscriptions with usage-based billing.
Okay.
And I'll just give you a couple of examples, right? You have a flat fee with included amount. Lovable is a great example. You get a certain number of messages as part of that. Then you have flat fee plus overage, which is Vercel. You get certain fast data transfer that is part of that plan, and then if you go over, you pay for it.
Right.
There is subscriptions with recurring credits. So Replit, you buy $25 worth of subscription, and every month it gives you $40 of credits to use against some things. And then this unit-based credits, which is I met a YC company, Rubber Band, very recently, and they have X dollars. They give you 4,000 credits that you can use against all kinds of services like images, photograph generation, image generation, and you can just use against them. So there's a lot of innovation that is happening on the billing models, which has me really excited about that. And to answer your question of where Stripe is going with it, so right now we support a pay-as-you-go. We also support a credit-based drawdown model that I mentioned. Where we're going next is like supporting some of these models. We are working on making credits real time. Right now they apply it in voice time, like almost instantaneously, drawdown from it. We are moving to unit-based credits, so you can grant in tokens instead of dollars to your users. We are also supporting a lot of these, like the subscriptions with included usage out of the box. So we are launching something called pricing plan, which literally lets you model your entire business model on Stripe. And you don't have to manage that logic at your end.
It's such a interesting space, actually, as we are like adapting different models to fit all the different types of business logic and business models out there. I had no idea, actually, there was so much innovation going on to help people match up what their application and how that needs to charge. It's been a really great session. Are there any sort of final links that you would share, resources that people should go to?
Absolutely. I think I would say two things. One is the usage-based billing, Stripe docs, and with usage-based billing, that is one thing that you should look at. The other thing is that we didn't get into that, is that building a usage-based billing system is actually a very, very challenging thing, because think about what you're trying to build here. You're trying to build a very accurate system that is auditable. It is high throughput and high cardinality at the same time. You want it to be real time because of like we talked about that earlier, and low cost. So it's actually a very difficult system to build out, and you don't want to take on that side quest of building on your own. So Stripe has been investing a lot in that. So we recently published a blog which we call How We Built It. I think that is another blog I would recommend folks to look at and like understand like how we built it, and it's just an interesting engineering problem.
That's on stripe.dev, or what
it is
blog?
on blogs. It's in the Stripe blogs.
Oh, the Stripe blog. Okay, great. Well, Kunal, thanks so much. It's been a really interesting session for me, that's for sure. And thanks for your time.
Thank you. Thanks, Ben.
And thanks, everyone, for watching. We'll be back with another video in about half an hour where we'll be talking about accounts and customer resource sharing.